Well, hello, good evening, and welcome to the Third Man Cricket Show. Here we are. We stand at game 43. It's the Rajasthan Royals taking on the Royal Challengers Bangalore. And tonight with me, I have Sachit, who is a fan of Rajasthan Royals, as well as Arjun Menon, who is a fan of Royal Challengers Bangalore. How are you guys? How is the mahol for tonight's game?
Sachit, you want to go first?
Your voice is breaking. I couldn't hear you. Could you repeat that?
Yeah, I just welcomed you and I asked how's the atmosphere for today's game? How's the feeling? It's a must-win game for you, and are there any is there any nervousness, or are you feeling pretty chilled, or how's it going?
The atmosphere is pretty tense at the moment because I think RR needs to win every match from here on to qualify.
Yes.
So, and especially after the way RCB won against RR in the last encounter, it's very tense, the atmosphere right now, especially around Devdutt Padikkal and Virat Kohli. But yeah, I'm just confident that our guys will pull through and come up with a victory in this one. So I'm just hopeful and just confident in the RR boys.
Sure. And Arjun, coming to you, RCB sitting third in the
That's what for a change. RCB is comparatively chill. Obviously can't be taken lightly and thing, but comparatively chill. Like normally, end of the season, RCB is the one panicking the most, getting the calculator out and all that. But this time, no such thing. It's just, in fact, RCB can be potentially aiming for top 2 finish also. So there are little bigger motives for RCB for a change. So which is a welcome change for us.
Yes,
and apart from that, getting consistency is very important. RCB is very inconsistent. So they need to get some back-to-back wins for a change. So I hope they get the momentum from the previous game.
Yes. And
build on.
Sachit rightly mentioning that the last time both these teams fared, it was in the Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai, and Devdutt Padikkal got that magnificent century. But in this second leg of the IPL, both the teams have something in common. That is, both teams have played 3 games until now, and they've managed to win just 1 out of those 3. Speaking about Rajasthan Royals, I think they've managed to win that 1 game against the Punjab Kings, where it was all the Kartik Tyagi show. So, Sachit, what do you think needs to change in the RR camp with the way they are approaching the game?
I don't see any problem with their bowling at the moment. Yes, the power play, they've been very weak in the power play. They haven't gotten as many wickets as we'd expect them to get. But the main concern right now would be the batting because apart from Sanju Samson, I don't see anybody scoring as much as we'd want them to. So that's a massive concern right now. The bowling, yes, the death bowling especially has been brilliant. So it's nothing to worry about at the moment. But yes, the power play bowling and the batting is a massive concern. The openers need to get some runs. Yashasvi Jaiswal has been contributing pretty well. We saw that in the Punjab match. But apart from him, I don't think anybody in the top order except Sanju Samson has been contributing enough. The middle order is just completely lacks runs at the moment. So that's a massive concern. So I hope that they address that, and I hope they figure out a solution for that, because from here on every match is extremely crucial for RR. So I hope that problem gets sorted as soon as possible, so that we get back on winning track and hopefully pull off wins from here on. We need to win every match from here on. So hopefully we win every match.
Yes, that's what you will be hoping for, and every Rajasthan Royals fan will be hoping that they win every game from here on. On that note, let's just look at the fixtures of Rajasthan Royals. They play RCB today, then there's CSK, MI, and KKR. So there's a lot of power in every clash. That they are going to take. But Arjun, coming to you, even RCB has won just 1 game out of the 3 games that they've played this season. So do you think that they'll be a bit nervous going onto the field, because they've had a very great, very good history against the Rajasthan Royals? So how do you think will they approach this game?
So I feel there's only one area which is of concern for RCB, that is Kyle Jameson's form. I see George Garton may be coming in for him. Apart from that, I think the team is very settled. There are a lot of good options. Like, it's a well-rounded team. Shahbaz Ahmed could contribute a bit more with bat and ball. And apart from that, it seems fine. And if Rajasthan continues with the same kind of 11, I feel shouldn't be a problem. If Shreyas Gopal or Markande comes in, then it could be problems for RCB. But I hope Rajasthan stick to the Tewatia leg spin and not bring in the more better ones.
Right, right. And coming to you, Sachit, Rajasthan Royals, there has been a very big discussion around Rajasthan Royals in this leg, and that is none other than Shreyas Gopal's record versus RCB, as you can rightly see here. In 7 matches, he has returned 14 wickets, and he has averaged 11.14 and has conceded just 6.5 runs per over, which is massive in T20s. So, do you think that Shreyas Gopal is going to come into the 11 for the Rajasthan Royals, especially today when there's Virat Kohli in the opposition?
I think it could go both ways right now, because if you think about it in the optimistic way, this is the best time for RR to take risks, because they need to win every match from here on. So the only way they can do that is by taking risks and bringing in more changes to the side. So obviously, I would probably see Shreyas Gopal make it into the 11 and Rahul Tewatia to miss out. But the other way, if you look at it the other way, Rahul Tewatia can also provide batting. Shreyas Gopal cannot do that. So
Exactly.
I think the way that I think RR right now are struggling with batting. So bringing in Shreyas Gopal and reducing a batting option would obviously, I think that would be very harmful for them. That'd be a massive risk, and I wouldn't suggest that. So I feel that going in with Rahul Tewatia is the safe option right now.
Yes.
Risk, yes, you might get rewards, but it's just I feel that RCB are susceptible to leg spin, not just Shreyas Gopal. It's not what Shreyas Gopal does. Virat Kohli is susceptible to leg spin, so Rahul Tewatia can offer that as well. So
True,
I don't think it's going to be much of a problem.
Yes, and we have seen what Rahul Tewatia can do with the bat, last year in Sharjah. So it's well that we don't speak about it. But an interesting comment here that in terms of wickets taken by spin bowlers this season, RCB have 19 wickets taken by spin bowlers, and RR have just managed 6. Sachit, just an add-on question to what you just said: can this be a result of lack of spin bowling attack being in Rajasthan Royals, or can this be a result of good left arm seamers being in the Rajasthan Royals? Because there's Chetan Sakaria, there's Mustafizur Rahman who can bowl really slower balls, so they do it really well. So what do you think created this imbalance?
I think RR are. I think RR have made it pretty clear that they're trusting their fast bowlers more than spinners. Their balance right now depends completely on fast bowlers. They don't have genuine spinners. Like, they have all-rounders. They have 2 all-rounders who can bowl spin, but they don't have genuine spinners. They can't bring in Shreyas Gopal at the moment because they're clearly trusting their fast bowlers right now. So the balance is pretty clear. You cannot change that. So that I think is the reason why spinners haven't been able to take wickets, because they don't have good spin options at the moment, or even if they do, they're not picking them in the side because they know that their fast bowlers are more effective than spinners. So I feel that the current balance does not allow for a spinner to come in and take more wickets. So I think they'll have to stick to it right now. They don't have an option. So hopefully they do well with what they have right now.
Yes, and a stat mentioning Virat Kohli's last 3 scores versus RR, a couple of 72 not outs and a 43. A big smile on your face, Arjun. Today the game is against RR again. So your thoughts on, is this stat going to go like, another 72 or something like that?
Hopefully. Plus, last 2 innings in general, he has scored 250s. So I feel a big, not 100, a big 70s, 80s kind of score is definitely coming. And I hope
if there's a 70 and 80, you would might as well want it to go to 100. But
hopefully that would be the dream. Even though it won't count as the international 100, but still it'll be really good to have him score 100. But I'm more worried about AB de Villiers coming back to form. I feel he hasn't clicked in this second half, so I hope he plays well in the second half. That's more important.
Yes. And as an RCB fan,
Kohli is struggling. The major start to that, Virat Kohli is struggling after the power play, and that's where RR gets all their strength. That's where they start picking wickets. So,
yes. The banters have already began. The banters are already began.
Yeah, that's why we have Maxwell. Maxwell is for that.
I was just going to come to that point, Arjun. As an RCB fan, I just want to ask you this question: that tell us something about the love story of Maxwell and switch hit sixes. I mean, either सीधा 6 मारने को problem हो रहा है बहुत players को. This man is just becoming a lefty and just switch hitting bowlers for a 6 like fun. I mean, something on that. A word on that.
Yeah, I think Maxwell is in a great mental space right now. He's really comfortably sitting at number 4 for RCB, and he's gelled really well with Kohli and ABD and all of them. So I feel he's the kind of player, if he's happy, he'll contribute in every part of the game, whether it's bowling or batting or fielding. And like the opposite was happening in Punjab. In Punjab, he was just being used as a finisher, and there's the lack of clarity for his role. But here there seems to be more clarity in his role. And I also have a feeling he could be looked at as a retention option if ABD retires or something like that. Maxwell could be a retention option too. So Maxwell is like really secure in RCB, and that's why he's performing so well.
All right, Maxwell is secure in RCB, says Arjun. Coming to you, Sachit, a big discussion about Rajasthan Royals, obviously about this game has been about the inclusion of Shreyas Gopal, but this leg of the IPL put together, a big point of concern, I would say, is the form of Liam Livingstone. It's majorly because of the batting position that he is taking up. He was he was made to open one time, and he was sent at 4 the other 2 times, if I'm not wrong. So what do you think is not making him click this leg of the IPL, and where do you think he should be placed to bat so that he can perform?
Honestly, I think what is not going right for Liam Livingstone is the fact that he doesn't know where he's supposed to bat. He doesn't know what he's supposed to work on, because one match you send him opening, the next match you send him in at 4. He doesn't know what to work on. Any batsman for that matter, it doesn't have to be somebody of international standards like Liam Livingstone. Any batsman, even of club cricket level, won't perform well if he doesn't even know where he's going to bat. So obviously that's a massive concern for RR, because they need to make Liam Livingstone aware of what his position is and what he has to do. Only then he can work on it and get better. So obviously, I think that's management. I'd probably blame the management on that. I wouldn't blame Liam Livingstone for his lack of form, because he doesn't even know what he's supposed to do. So I think the best thing for Liam Livingstone right now would be to open, because he's done it for the entire year. This entire year he hasn't played much T20 cricket for England. He's played more in the Big Bash and all these other domestic leagues. So if he's playing and in almost every league he's opened. So I think that's where he's comfortable with. That's where he's comfortable at the moment, and that's where he needs to be sent. Evan Lewis, he performed in the first match, but he hasn't been that good since. So I would suggest Glenn Phillips coming in and Evan Lewis sitting out, and Liam Livingstone opening, because with the experience that Liam Livingstone brings in, I think that would be very beneficial for RR. And also he'd know his position, because he's been playing in that position for a long time. He'll know what to do. And, if you give him a couple of matches, he'd probably start getting the kind of runs he used to get in Big Bash or in the other league matches. So obviously I feel that should be the ideal position for Liam Livingstone.
True. Just an add-on question to that, Sachit. You mentioned the form of Liam Livingstone, as he's not sure so as to what his role is. With RR needing 4 wins out of 4 games, do you think that they can look at someone like David Miller as a replacement to Liam Livingstone in the playing 11?
I don't know, because look, he performed well in the first match, but since then he hasn't scored in a single game. I haven't seen him cross 20 after the first game that he played. So obviously that's going to be a massive concern for RR. You bring in somebody who hasn't been able to get runs at all. That would be a massive problem for RR, because first of all, their middle order is struggling, and on top of that, you bring in somebody who hasn't been able to get runs. It's not going to help them at all. The only way they're going to get runs is probably bring in Glenn Phillips, because yes, he's inexperienced, but that's a risk that RR should be willing to take at the moment. Yes, Evan Lewis. I see a lot of questions in the comment section saying where will Evan Lewis play?
Yes, there are.
I genuinely think he should be dropped. Yes, very early, I know. But I think that's a risk RR needs to take, because they can't change their bowling lineup right now and drop Tewatia and bring in Gopal. The only change that I suggested, and the only change that is practical right now, would be to send Liam Livingstone opening and bring Glenn Phillips in, because that's something that I think another thing that teams would be concerned about is that Glenn Phillips hasn't played in the IPL much. So he would be a new face in the IPL. They won't know how to tackle Glenn Phillips at the moment. So that would be a benefit that would be an advantage for Glenn Phillips. And if he capitalizes on that, there's nothing like it, because the middle order has been struggling, and Glenn Phillips getting runs in the middle order would help RR to a whole other level, because I know that if RR can get to a good total, they can easily defend it. If they get to 150, 160, I feel that would be easily defendable by RR, especially because their bowling, especially in the depth, is extraordinary. So yes, that would be one risk that RR should be willing to take at the moment, so that they can get those 4 wins.
Right. Arjun, coming to you, look, 4 years ago, if anyone would have asked who's batting at number 3, in terms of RCB, there was no doubt that it was Virat Kohli. But now if you'll see and ask probably who's batting at number 3, you'll think a bit before saying Virat Kohli, because Virat Kohli is opening and there's a new player playing at number 3. So RCB's number 3 dilemma. Here we go. KS Bharat played a brilliant inning against the Mumbai
previous match he
Indians.
played really well. Yeah.
Yes,
KS
yes. So do you think that he is a permanent number 3, or do you think that they are using him as a floater in case the first wicket goes early?
I feel if it's in the middle overs when he has to come out to bat, then he sweeps the ball a lot. So against the spinners, he can be a really good option for sweeping the ball. Otherwise, if it's like a really good start, then definitely it's going to be Maxwell, ABD, Dan Christian, and then Bharat will be pushed down the order. So it all depends on that. Like it's a bit like Badrinath's role for Chennai Super Kings. That's what Bharat's role is right now for RCB. So I see him continuing in this position for a few games, and that too he has played for India A for a long time, and he's toured with India during Test series and all that. So he's an experienced guy, more experienced than the Azharuddin and Patidar and all those options. I feel that's why Bharat has been persisted with, and of course he's a specialist keeper, so that straight away brings a if let's say RCB goes with Chahal and Chahal is in really good form now, a specialist keeper like him will be really useful in the back instead of ABD. And of course, it's nice to see ABD fielding. So it fits nicely with Bharat coming in at number 3. A lot of
Obviously,
options.
and here we have the pitch report. Says Matthew Hayden. It's a new pitch, lots of grass on it, and very, very hard. I think it'll be pretty good for batting. So the pitch will be expected to remain the same and behave the same throughout the course of 40 overs. So since we have the pitch report right now, I would like to ask you your predictions about the toss, because Dubai International Stadium has been a kind of pitch where teams have struggled to chase. I mean, there have been 4 matches, I guess, and teams batting first have won 3 out of those 4 games, if I get my stats right. So, what do you think should be the decision if you win the toss? Will it change because it's a new and a hard pitch, or do you think that they should go with batting first?
So if it's because of the grass, I feel someone like a Mohammad Siraj or a George Garton will be really useful. So I think RCB will bowl first and look to chase, and will send it. And I generally want Garton to play, so I hope he plays. But I feel because of Jameson's big price tag, they might just keep persisting with him just for return on investment on that money. But otherwise, I feel talent-wise, Garton is more better for T20 and Jameson is for tests. So I hope Garton comes in, and he's a left armer. That variety is not there in the RCB team, so that can really boost the bowling lineup and bring a lot more variety as compared to someone like Jameson, who is medium pace. And George Garton can bowl 145 clicks regularly, so he can be a different asset to the team. I hope he comes into the picture.
That's fair enough. Sachit, coming to you, win the toss, bat first or bowl first? Would you go with what's going on in Dubai, or would you say that the toss is just what we want to do?
That is honestly a very tough decision for RR right now, because their batting is struggling. Even if they
might as well lose the toss.
Sorry,
I would might as well prefer to lose the toss. Oh,
I would definitely prefer to lose the toss right now, because it's a tough decision. I don't.
And even Kohli would rather lose the toss, because he's winning when he's losing the toss.
Prefer batting first at the moment, because the batting is struggling. They won't be able to get enough total. They won't be able to get enough total to defend. So I think the best option would be to chase. It's risky. It's very risky. But I think the onus lies on the RR bowlers right now, because they're the ones who are consistently performing. RR's batsmen haven't been as good as RR's bowlers have been. So I would rather chase than have to bat first and put up a total, especially against RCB, I think they chased a massive target last time we met them. So I think it would be a massive risk for us to do that again and ask RCB to chase, because they've done it before. They can do it again, and they have enough batting firepower to do it all over again. So it's very risky to bat first. The only thing I would suggest is probably to bowl first and take the safer option at the moment. Right. Safest would be to lose the toss, but if you happen to win, then chase would be the better option.
Sachit, here's the predicted 11 for Rajasthan Royals. You already mentioned that you would want Evan Lewis to sit out and Livingston to open the batting. So, वो एक change chhod ke, is there any other change that you would like to make?
I would right now. If Tyagi is available, then yes, Tyagi instead of Jaydev Unadkat or Shreyas Gopal. But if not, I think Shreyas Gopal would be a good option right now because Chris Morris, Mustafizur Rahman, and Chetan Zakaria can handle the fast bowling department. You can get two quality leg spinners to attack RCB, who's weak against leg spin. So that would be a much better option instead of Jaydev Unadkat having 4 fast bowlers and 3 left-arm fast bowlers, especially. Instead of going with the same angle over and over again, bringing in two leg spinners and not asking Riyan Parag to bowl would be a much better option because he's not a bowler. He is just not a bowler. I wouldn't ever accept him as a batting all-rounder. I would accept him as a batsman. He's not a bowler, and you can't expect him to bowl. Especially 4 overs. It doesn't make sense. So the best option would be to go with Shreyas Gopal instead of Jaydev Unadkat and have 2 quality left-arm fast bowlers and a good right-arm fast bowler paired with 2 leg spinners. And if needed, if the leg spinners aren't doing well, then you can bring in Riyan Parag. But if not, I think that would be a much better option than having Jaydev Unadkat inside.
Yes, just a quick add-on question to you, Sachit, on the Rajasthan Royals squad that we have here. Do you think that their batting is way too dependent on Sanju Samson? Because you have Yashasvi Jaiswal and Amin Lewis to open in the last game. Then there's Sanju Samson, Lam Livingston. If they don't perform, the Mahipal Lomror and Riyan Parags are not doing anything extraordinary to recuperate from the loss and just come and take them to a score to which they can defend. So do you think that they're way too dependent on someone like Sanju Samson?
It's sad to say this, but of course they are. It's really sad to say that RR is completely dependent on Sanju Samson at the moment, but they are. He's scoring 3/4 of the runs. Out of, I think they scored 120 in the last game. 84 was his individual score. 82 was that's 3/4 of the score. So that is ridiculous. If you consider if you just completely depend on the captain, then what are the other players going to do? I think RR could have just done without 3 to 4 batsmen of theirs and still gotten to the same total that they did, because 3/4 of the runs was scored by the captain anyway. So that they are extremely dependent. It's sad to say, as an RR fan, it's just really sad to say, but they are dependent on Sanju Samson completely at the moment. So I really hope that somebody steps up. I would really love to see Yashasvi Jaiswal or Liam Livingston step up at this moment, because this is their time. This is the best opportunity they can get to, score some runs and win the match for the team. Because these next 4 matches are extremely crucial, and depending on just one batsman would be ridiculous. So yes, this is their best opportunity, especially for Yashasvi Jaiswal and Liam Livingston. So I hope they do show their experience and they get some runs on the board, because if they do, then I think Sanju Samson can take care of the rest. If he continues the trend that he's been following so far, at 70, 80 odd runs in every game, if he continues that, then I think RR is going to be a massive batting threat as well for the opposition. So I really hope they do that.
They are a bowling threat in the death overs, but they will be a batting threat if they perform collectively as a batting unit. Some big news coming: George Garton making debut for the Royal Challengers Bangalore. That's exactly what Arjun wanted, and he's got it. So Arjun, your opinions on the same, and then we'll just project the probable 11. And yes, here it is. So your opinions on George Garton making his debut first, and then any changes you would like to make in the predicted 11.
I was hoping that this would happen. He brings a lot of variety to the attack, and he can bat also. For in the T20 Blast, he has played a lot of crucial cameos at the end. So someone like him would be useful at 6 down or 7 down. I actually see him coming for Jameson in this 11. Both of them are there. I don't think that will weaken the batting a bit. So I think Christian might still play, and Garton might come in place of Jameson. That's what I think. If this is 11, then the bowling looks really strong, but the lower order batting looks weak with Shahbaz, Garton, and Jameson being bowling all-rounders. So it might be a little weak. It'll be risky to go in with. But otherwise, this 11 looks solid. It has all the bases covered, and I really hope that AB de Villiers comes into form. Once he comes into form, then RCB is really complete.
Yes, we all want ABD to come into form, because we are all cricket lovers, and when he gets going, except the Rajasthan Royals fans today, because when he gets going, it's just a treat to watch. But a couple of records that are due today. One is that Glenn Maxwell needs just 18 runs to complete 7,000 runs in T20 cricket. And the other one is AB de Villiers just needs 16 runs to complete 500 runs against Rajasthan Royals in the IPL. So Arjun and even Sachit, both we need your views on the same. These players have been a huge huge players, huge contributions made for the RCB.
Yes. Like I hope both of them get the records today, respectively, and yeah, like Maxwell is very underrated in T20. I feel so. For Australia, he plays well. People love him in Australia, but in IPL, because of what he's done for Punjab, people haven't given him the due respect he deserves. I feel he is also in the same league of 360-degree player who can play all around the park, like a mixture of the same league as Butler, ABD, all of them. Like I see Maxwell in the same league as them, and he can bowl too. Like that's a huge bonus. He's a very handy bowler, and nowadays he's actually working on his bowling a bit more. I think the T20 World Cup he'll be played as a proper all-rounder by Australia because they don't have any other off spinner. So I see Maxwell bowling more in this IPL just to fit that quota of an all-rounder. So like right now, this team looks a bit like a CSK kind of balance of a lot of bowlers and deep batting going on till 8 down. So I really like the look of this RCB team. Otherwise, Kohli is a big fan of 5 pure bowlers and 6 pure batsmen. But in RCB is changing a bit. A lot of mixed players are getting a chance, so it's a good sign for RCB.
Yes. As they say, change is the only constant. So
Yes.
it's really nice to know that they're doing what the situation needs. Sachit, coming to you, Devdutt Padikkal hit a magnificent century in the last game against RR. So do you think that, the management, just to stop him from playing freely or getting those free runs, do you think Tabraiz Shamsi can be a good option just because he has that ability to take the ball away from the left-hander?
That I don't think is practical right now because most of the foreign players of RR are batsmen.
Yes.
The fact that Evan Lewis, Glenn Phillips, or Liam Livingstone have to make it to the side. 2 of them have to make it to the side. And Mustafizur has been bowling really well, so you can't drop them. You can't drop him. And Chris Morris has been their most valuable player, and in the first leg, in the first leg of this IPL at least. So
yes.
I don't see Tabraiz Shamsi coming in right now because they are, in my opinion, if they go with Shreyas Gopal instead of Jaydev Unadkat, their team is pretty much balanced. So if they go with Jaydev Unadkat, if they go with 3 left-arm fast bowlers and no right-arm fast bowlers, that would make no sense at all. If you drop Chris Morris and bring in Tabraiz Shamsi, that would mean that you have 4 left-arm bowlers, 3 left-arm fast bowlers and a left-arm Chinaman. So that would be ridiculous because that's targeted completely towards Devdutt Padikkal. I mean, if you're taking in Tabraiz Shamsi, and once Devdutt Padikkal is out, the entire batting lineup, these bowlers will have to bowl to the entire RCB batting lineup, which consists of AB de Villiers, Glenn Maxwell, Dan Christian if he makes it into the team, and Virat Kohli. So that would be ridiculous if you just focus on one batsman and ignore the rest of the batting lineup.
Yeah.
So,
koi out of syllabus na aa jaye.
I know. So obviously the best thing would be to go with Chris Morris and go with Shreyas Gopal instead of Unadkat, and that would pretty much balance the RR lineup.
True. Very well said. And Arjun, coming to you, look, there are 5 bowlers you have right now, in a predicted 11. If we project it again, there's George Garton, then there's Jamieson, Harshal Patel, Mohammad Siraj, and Yuzvendra Chahal. In the last game against Mumbai Indians, Glenn Maxwell bowled his complete quota of 4 overs, got 3 wickets as well. And Shahbaz Ahmed was someone who was not utilized as a bowler. So do you think that he still should be taken into the 11, or do you think that place can be filled with someone who can bat as they want to?
Yeah, like a pure batsman.
Yeah,
like
so
a pure batsman, like
because
but the problem is
if
pure
you
batsman.
consider Shahbaz Ahmed, if you consider Shahbaz Ahmed as just a batsman, Glenn Maxwell is still filling in that role of a 6th bowler.
Exactly.
So do you think that Shahbaz Ahmed should sit out and a batsman can replace him ideally?
Yeah, that the pure batsman should replace him, but the problem is that the pure batsman RCB have a top order batsman like Patidar and Mohammad Azharuddin, and whereas Shahbaz Ahmed is known to be a lower order batsman, so I think that's why he's being persisted with. Maybe someone like a Pawan Deshpande or someone could get a chance. He's been sitting in the bench since a lot of years. Like I think about time he gets 1 game at least. So Pawan Deshpande, I've heard that he's a lower order batsman and a pinch hitter. So maybe he can come in. But otherwise, I won't be surprised if they continue with Shahbaz Ahmed just because if one bowler has a bad day, then like what happened that other match when Shahbaz Ahmed just took 3 wickets out of the blue. So something like that. If for that kind of contingency, they might keep Shahbaz Ahmed in the team as an option.
Right. Sachit mentioned when I asked him about the toss, he mentioned that we rather lose the toss, and Arjun said that even we might lose the toss because Virat Kohli wins games when he loses tosses. But Sachit has got it right here. The RCB have won the toss and they have opted to field first. So,
Field, yes.
guys, first reactions, starting with you, Arjun.
Yeah, no. So what's the playing 11? Is Jameson there or is Garton there?
Yeah, we'll get the update. We'll get the update.
If both of them are there, then it'll be really good because in a green pitch, both of them can move the ball a lot. So they both and Siraj can really make full use of the power play and swing the ball. So I think that's a really good move by RCB. And while chasing RCB with Kohli back in form, the chase master is back. So that's a really good thing.
Jameson has dropped.
Jameson.
Yes. I think what you wanted has happened. Jameson is dropped and Garton replaces him. So here we have the playing 11 of the Royal Challengers Bangalore. On the screen as a ticker. Virat Kohli, Devadat Padikkal, Bharat at 3. Glenn Maxwell, ABD Villiers, Daniel Christian is there in the team. George Garton, Shahbaz Ahmed is also there in the playing 11. And we have the Rajasthan Royals playing 11 as well. Evan Lewis, HSV Jaiswal. So Liam Livingstone is not opening. He's still at 4. Mahipal Lomuror at 5. Riyan Parag, Rahul Tewatia, Chris Morris. Karthik Tyagi is back in place of Unadkat. So that's a big positive for RR. Chetan Sakaria and Mustafizur Rahman. Quite the expected playing 11s. But if I ask you guys, who are you looking for as the X factor in your team, the Dream11 Star player from your team after seeing the playing 11s? What is the first thought?
I think for us, before that, depend on Sanju Samson.
That's an expected answer, by the way. How the last games have fared. No, that's an expected answer. But Arjun, coming to you, who do you
before
think
that, I'm happy that Shreyas Gopal is not there in the 11. So that's a good thing. And I would say the X factor player is Maxwell.
Is there and he's also a leg spinner.
Yeah, Tewatia is there. Yeah.
Yes.
X factor player I would choose as Glenn Maxwell in the current form that he is in. Though I wanted to be AB de Villiers, but like current form, then Maxwell and Kohli are the guys who are going to play well. ABD, I hope he if it's chasing, then if ABD comes, it's mostly going to be in a finishing role. So I hope I don't want too much responsibility on him because that will show that the team has done badly. So I hope that the top order does most of the stuff and ABD gets a few overs to come into form.
Yes, you just mentioned ABD coming back into form. I have a very interesting stat here that ABD versus Morris, it's been 44 balls, 86 runs hit at a strike rate of 195. So if ABD takes, I saw Sachit's face. He was like, "Oh my god!" But if ABD takes it upon him today, and Chris Morris is there in the playing 11, so keeping that topic aside, players who can bat as well as give you some overs are just an very, very big advantage for any team, guys. I mean, Glenn Maxwell did it in the last game against MI. Just hit sixes, reverse, and whatever he does. And just coming in with the bowling his full quota of 4 overs and picking 3 wickets as well. So, just a word on how important such players are because, not every team has them. So, we really need to cherish what they do on the field.
Who's that for? Is it for
me? No, RCB have a lot of such bowlers. So, I think that's the only reason why Shahbaz Ahmed is still being persisted with because he's a 3D player. So that's why I think it's really useful to have multiple bowling options. Actually, CSK set the standard for having a lot of bowling options and a lot of teams are following that same template now. And it's really good to see a lot of Maxwell bats at number 4. Even Indian team doesn't have so many bowling options in their team. So I really like that RCB have a lot of bowling options. And coming to Rajasthan, I'm surprised that Shivam Dube hasn't got a chance yet because I feel he's a very underrated guy, especially ex-RCBN. Generally, they do well in other franchises, so I'm surprised.
We have five potential players of that sort, but nobody is firing. So
yeah,
I don't know what to say. We have 5 players of that sort. We have Mahipal Lomuror, Riyan Parag, Rahul Tewatia, Chris Morris, and Shivam Dube. So we have 5 players of that sort, but none of them have worked in our favor. So I really don't know how to
And
answer
Liam
that
Livingston too.
question. Sorry?
Liam Livingston also can bowl.
In that way, even Virat Kohli can bowl. But can you
No,
count him as
Liam
a bowler?
Livingstone is looked as a proper all-round option in England. He competes with Moeen Ali for that spot.
No, he bowled just a couple of overs in the T20 matches that England played. He's not genuinely a bowler. So
Okay, yeah.
let's not say
We-
he's a bowler of that sort.
We'll actually have to see if he bowls today, which is a distant possibility. But
well, with the way
that-
Riyan Parag has been bowling, I really think that Liam Livingstone would be a much better option. I'm not willing to criticize over here, but I really don't see Riyan Parag as a bowler. So the fact that they've been trusting him as a bowler for years now, it just doesn't make sense. And I hope that they don't anymore. I hope that they don't have to do it anymore from next season at least after the mega auction. So hopefully they get a better team in that. But to answer your question, yes, they're an absolute blessing, that kind of players, and the way they work. I don't think there's anybody in the team that can contribute as much as they do, because even if they don't get it with the bat, they can come in with the ball and create a massive. Have a huge impact. So obviously they've got 2 options. They're 3-dimensional players. So obviously they are blessings for any team, and RR was potentially blessed with 5 of them. None of them performed, so that's just sad for us. But I'm really happy for RCB because Glenn Maxwell and Shehbaz Ahmed are extremely talented players, and especially Dan Christian as well. You can't count them out. So obviously these players are gifted players, and our RCB is blessed with 3 of them. And yes, one hasn't played well, Dan Christian, but apart from that, they've been blessed, and I'm happy for them. Just I hope that they don't play well in this match. But apart from that, I feel that RCB are blessed, and unfortunately RR isn't.
True, very true. Guys, just one question each to you guys before we go in for the prediction segment. Arjun, coming to you, Dan Christian hasn't really fired with the bat in this leg of the IPL particularly, and we see him not being given that amount of overs as well. In the last game, maybe it was because Maxwell bowled really well and he completed his full quota of 4 overs. But do you think that Dan Christian should be given a lot more overs than he generally is? And what is your take on him not performing well in this second leg?
So firstly, I think he's getting a lot of chances because he's like this trophy-winning player. He's won a lot of trophies all around the world. He has a lot of he's known for being a lucky charm on every team. So I guess that's why he's getting an extended run now. But otherwise, he has huge potential. He can be a death bowler. He can be a finisher. That's a very rare commodity to have in IPL right now. So I hope he does the death bowling. Actually, last match he bowled 1 over really well, right? So in the end, one of the overs where he was keeping on bowling to the field. Though that's a really good thing that he does, and he creates a very awkward angle from the it's a very awkward action he has also. So I feel that also can contribute to confusing the batsman. So I think his experience and everything is he's like one of those players who, if he plays well, is really good. Otherwise, he's just a good presence to have in the field. So I feel that's why they're having him he's 37 years old or something, and he's still getting so many contracts and stuff. So I think there's certainly something that he brings to the dressing room and everything that people like, and that's why he's playing regularly.
Exactly. At the bottom of your screen, we can see yes, exactly. We can see a Dream11 tip that Gautam Gambhir has said he hopes Sanju Samson will score runs tonight as he continued his form. Well, the Rajasthan Royals will feel that he would do that surely, as the batting is heavily dependent on him. But before we go on to the
wrong person
segment,
to say
Sachit,
that.
Yeah, jinx.
Yeah, exactly why Sanchit has put it down there on the screen, I guess. But Sachit, coming to you, a few nights ago you needed to defend 4 runs in an over, and a bowler pulled it off from your side, none other than Karthik Tyagi. He wasn't there in the last game. Now he's back into the 11. How happy are you?
It's kind of a blessing in disguise, because I was looking at Shreyas Gopal coming into the side this match especially. That would have brought in a lot of balance, because Riyan Parag wouldn't have had to bowl, and you'd have 5 genuine bowlers and 3 fast bowlers and 2 leg spinners. So that would have brought in a lot of balance. Right now they have 6 bowlers and they'll have to go to Riyan Parag as a genuine spinner who might have to bowl 4 overs or at least 2. So that's not that great. But I mean, it's not good news. But of course, Karthik Tyagi coming in is a massive advantage for us because that strengthens our death bowling, which has already been so good. So that is the only advantage right now that I see. The middle overs is still a concern right now because of the imbalance in the side. But I hope that they make up for it in the death overs, and I hope that they do right now that because they're batting first. I was going to say I hope they restrict them to low total, but now that they're batting first, I hope that they get to a good total and hope they defend it because the death is where it all matters. I feel that is where that is what the match comes down to at the end, and that's where it matters the most. And Karthik Tyagi is an addition over there. Karthik Tyagi is going to be a huge advantage over there. So that is the only positive that we can take from this side, despite the imbalance in the side. I think Karthik Tyagi coming in would help RR, and I really hope it does. I'm just being optimistic over here. I can't really say much about the game right now.
Yes. All the Rajasthan Royals fans will be very optimistic today, as Mumbai Indians fans were yesterday, because even they are in a similar situation. Guys, going ahead to the prediction segment, Arjun, coming to you, how much do you think will the RCB be happy to chase in this game?
I think anything less than 150 will be a good target to chase for. Actually, depends on, you can't say now. Like if the pitch slows down, then even 150 will be a really tough target. But like assuming because it's a fresh pitch, then I guess it's going to be a batting friendly pitch. So 150 will be a really good target for RCB to chase. So anything above 150, 160 will become a tricky chase. Well, because 180, 200, if Samson goes into beast mode, then we're in for a very high scoring match. But I hope that doesn't happen.
Well, obviously. And Sachit, how much do you want to defend, in this game? Because there's a Virat Kohli, there's a Devdutt Patikal, there's a Glenn Maxwell, there's an AB de Villiers, and KS Bharat is in prime form as well. So considering all these heavyweight batsmen, how much will you feel comfortable defending?
As Ronak mentioned, 190 plus would be very helpful. but no, I think on a realistic side, I think anything above 160 would work. I think RR would work with anything above 160 because they have the death bowling to defend that kind of a total. The power play bowling needs to fire this time. They need to get at least a couple of wickets in the power play to defend anything above 160. If not, 190 plus is the only option we have. So,
yes, Sanchit actually mentioned that RR will get either 120 all out or 190, nothing in between. And it's very astonishing that's coming from a super royal. So that's some great confidence shown.
Well, the one positive that RR can take from that comment, especially I can work with that comment because the one confidence that RR can have coming into this game is that their strike rate has never gone down. This entire tournament, their strike rate has never gone down. Even in the match that they scored 178 against Punjab, they maintained a strike rate of almost 10 till the end of the innings. They kept losing wickets, but they maintained that strike rate. So, as Sanchit said, that might be true because if RR maintain that kind of a strike rate, despite losing wickets, they can still get up to about 170, 180, maybe 190, you never know. And they can work with that. They can easily work with that because anything above 160 is defendable for RR's death bowling. The only thing is that their power play, the bowling in their power play needs to work and they need to get a couple of wickets in there. If they do, then I think this game is RR's. And there's no doubt about
that. Arjun, just a quick question for you. Virat Kohli winning the toss, choosing to bowl first. Do you think it's because he loves to chase or RCB as a unit is comfortable chasing, or do you think it's because there'll be some dew towards the second innings?
Yeah, I think it's like a mixture of both. Like dew, I don't know much about the dew part, but yeah, RCB is a confident team and they're confident about their bowlers. They back the bowlers, then they send them out to bowl first and like get pumped up in the beginning itself and bowl like really well. So that's what RCB works. If RCB low on confidence, they completely back their batting and make them do everything. So RCB is in a good headspace now, and that's why they have sent in the bowlers to go and have fun in the new green pitch. So I think that's why they've chosen to bowl first. Yeah, if the dew is a factor, then yes, that will be a direct reason for RCB to choose to bowl first. but I am not
True.
aware about that. So yeah.
Well, Arjun says that RCB are in a very good mental space, so they have elected to bowl first. That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
So that's all we had on the show, guys. To all the viewers, we'll be having a watch along from 9:15 p.m. So do join us for that. The link will be in the description. So please do join us for the watch along. Sachit and Arjun, I'll see you at the post match show. Thank you very much for joining me here, and thanks to all the viewers as well for
Thank
keeping the
you.
comment section alive. So thank you very much. Let's have a very good game and see you all in the watch along at 9:15. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.